In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a password protected page or set of pages for your team or prospective members. But before we get started, I just want you to consider a couple things. So even though we are going to set a password on these pages, it can still become public, right? So your members who have the password could go on there and save the content, screenshot it or whatever, download it and save it, send it off somewhere else. And so whatever you put out here, just keep that in mind that we are making it harder for just random people to stumble across this content, but it doesn't mean that it won't ever potentially get out in the public or be visible by someone who you aren't expecting to see it. So just remember that. And then before we get started, also, I just want you to collect your documents and that kind of stuff. So obviously you can watch this tutorial, but before you actually sit down and are going to create your own pages, I would assemble, if you have graphics that you want to upload, if you have scripts or documents, kind of get those and think through what you want to have this section of your site look like. So I have people who will use this to make a team area where they put up their scripts and their classes that they want for people to be able to download. Maybe they want to have training resources on there. Other people will actually make a class where people can go to this, enter in the password, and then view like a 101 class. Have graphics up there with information on it. But kind of think through like what your end goal is with this, and then kind of start to assemble your content. For videos, I recommend hosting them on YouTube or on Vimeo. Either one of those services has options where you can have your videos be unlisted, which means they won't show up in Google searches or direct searches, but they will be able to be embedded on this site, and they will obviously still be able to be shared by your members if they're kind of a public video. Or you can add a password to them, so people would come here, they would enter in a password to view your page, and then a separate password to enter and watch your video. So those are options, but I recommend either one of those hosting sites for your video content. Unfortunately, we can't embed stuff from Facebook, so one of those two will work great. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create 3 pages. We're going to have a welcome page, which is kind of the landing page for our team content. And I'm going to have that one be public so people can come there. You can have a little description of, what is going to be in your team content, maybe a little introduction video, and then instructions on how they should get the password for the other password protected pages. And then we're going to create one for scripts and one for graphics. So it's up to you if you want to have multiple pages like that. It's obviously easier just to create one big long page, but it's obviously maybe also a little bit more organized if you have it broken up into different categories. Let's go ahead and get started here. Go ahead, I'll hover over pages and click add new. All right, we're going to call this members only welcome. All right, and then hopefully maybe you've watched like the blog or the page builder, so I'm gonna spend a little less time going on through each one of the sections on here. Just kind of refer to them, so that might not be a bad. If you're feeling kind of lost, you can always go back and watch just the generic page building tutorial as well. But there are more instructions here, and this full tutorial will link to that basic page or blog post creation. So let's click add row. I'm gonna click on wide text here. And I'm going to write a little welcome paragraph. I'm also going to add a video. So I clicked here to shrink this down. I'm going to click add row. I'm going to do wide text again. And in this section, I'm going to add a video. I'm just going to go, for the sake of this tutorial here, to grab one of Young Living's public videos. So once I find the video that I want to embed, just click to play it. And then I'm going to copy the public link up here. So it should look like youtube.com/watch ? Bunch of numbers. That's the kind of link that you want. You're just going to copy it. Same thing on Vimeo. All you do is click to play the video that you want and then copy the link from the address bar. It'll automatically embed right on your site there. So for the sake of kind of brevity here, that's all I'm going to do for this page. Let's go ahead and preview it. So here I've got my welcome text and an introduction video. So later we're going to come back here and we're going to add links to these other 2 pages we're going to create, but that's all for now. Let's go ahead and save the draft here. We don't need to publish it yet. We're going to come back and edit it a little bit more. And I've chosen to keep this one be public. However, you could go back and add a password to it if you wanted to. Well, let's do one last step here. Since we're going to keep this one public, I'm going to give instructions on how I want people to get the password for these other pages. So I'm going to click add row one more time here. So here's my video section and that other text section that I wrote. Click add row. Let's do a contact form here. So you can choose between email, sign up, or contact. I have it on contact form. I'm just going to leave that, hey, thanks for stopping by. Contact me here to get the password. All right, let's save our draft and go and create our other 2 pages. Click that right there. Members only scripts. In this tutorial, let's just get down to business. Actually, let's call this one, this section right here, we're gonna call this download class scripts. Center it, heading 2. All right, now let's go ahead and add some links to some documents. So you could just paste your content right in here, but I think it makes more sense probably to link to maybe a PDF or a Word document, a Google Docs doc, however you want it. So you can paste it right in here. Otherwise, you can upload any of those. Just make sure that it's a common enough file that people can open it. You know, everyone pretty much can open a PDF. Google Docs, for example, anybody can open that. You just have to click on it and it opens right on the web. So just think about that. Don't open it in some proprietary weird format for a Mac or, you know, some program that no one else will have. All right, I'm gonna click upload files. You can insert from URL right here if you already have your stuff on Google Drive or whatever, Google Docs, but let's upload a PDF. And click insert into page. All right, so that's an ugly title. Let's fix that. So I'm gonna click on it there, click this little pencil, click the little gear, link text. Let's call this YL 101 class script. Update. Okay. Let's make these bullet points nice and organized. Okay, next one. Let's do another one. I'm just going to cheat and do the same document, but you could add now a link to something else or upload another document there. Let's make another section here. We're going to call this one phone scripts. And I'm going to cheat here and just copy those down there. We kind of get the idea. You can have different sections, keep things organized. You know, obviously you can use these other modules. We have the columns and the sections and that stuff. But for this one, let's just imagine that it's just a list of documents that we want to have listed here. I'm going to add my password by clicking visibility. Instead of having it be public, I'm going to do password protected. I'm going to do a really bad password of just 123. You'd come up with something much better than that. I'm going to set a featured image so that if I do share this on social media, that there's going to be a nice little preview image that comes with it. And we're going to call it members only scripts down this excerpt box. And that goes along with that preview image if you share it online somewhere. Let's go ahead and click publish. And let's go ahead and create our next page. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can lay out some nice looking graphics. Click add row. Let's do a gallery. Click add to gallery. So you could obviously upload files from your computer. I'm going to select these. I already uploaded them. So I'm just holding shift and clicking, or you can click multiple files here. Unclick a few. There we go. So I got those selected. Great. I'm going to give this one right here. Up at the top, this title, the caption will show up below the photo. So in this case, maybe I have most of my text is on the slide, but I just want a little description below it. So let's call this slide 1 info on something, or I could, say it looks like it's about some maybe Juvicleanse. Yeah, so you could give a little information on Juvicleanse, maybe how much it costs, or whatever. All right, let's click update and close and preview. All right, so here's that title that I gave it, or that caption I gave it. Here's other captions that were already built in there. I downloaded these from our shareable graphics, so they come with a caption already built in. So someone could come here, you can scan through, click on it, opens up nice and big. You can click through. It's great. It'd be a nice way to go through a graphics class like the ones that we've already created. All right, so let's go set up another way that you could do a class or have a bunch of graphics. Click add row. We'll do these column sections here. I'm gonna do image and then text. So I'm gonna add an image here. Let's do one of these. And we're gonna put over here the slide description. So I think this works better if you've got a longer, more text that you wanna go with it. So I'll just do like one little paragraph like that. Remember, if you ever got to go crazy and you got like, 4 paragraphs or this big block of text, we don't want it to like overflow past the photo. So you can always, add another wide text section and just keep typing. So that all goes like with that image up there. Do add row, image text again. Let's grab another one of these photos. Yeah, looks great. Let's click preview. Okay, so then here's that. So you can see I had too much text in there. That's too much. So just a couple sentences fits nicely alongside those images. And that's what it looks like if I decide to kind of overflow. So you could write a couple sentences there, and text below it. There's that gallery. So this works well if you want to allow people to actually see the graphics and maybe the script right on your website, so they could go through a 101 class, or maybe just even people on your team could go through and do some training. But if you want to allow people to actually download this content, you could, just like we did with the scripts, we're going to link to a file. So let's create a zip file of these graphics that we've been working on. So on your Mac computer, just do a little search on Google for how to zip files on a Mac computer. On a Windows, you just select the files that you want to work with, right click, send to, zip folder. We're going to call this 101 class part 1. All right, so back over on our website, we're going to go like add media, select file. Here's that folder we just created. It'll take a little bit to upload here. Insert it into the page, and there it is. So let's change this, instead of saying 101 class part 1, let's just change it to say download 101 class here. You can also copy this link. So there's the URL for this. I'm gonna copy it, clipboard, Control C. You can center this. Also, once you have that link for that file, you can click add row, do a button instead. So there's the link to that file, download class here. So what I did there was, added it to the media library, and then I just grabbed the link. And you could just delete this out if you wanted to, or leave it as a text link. A little bit simpler. So up here, click preview. So here's that. We could go through and clean this up if we wanted to. Here's just that plain text link, and here's that button. So, all right. So we've now created our 3 different pages here. So I'm gonna make sure that I add my password here. Password protected, same password as the other one, 123 in this case. Click publish. You wanna make sure you set your featured image and that excerpt at the bottom. All right, so now we've got our pages all created. Let's click back on pages here. And this last step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a little menu so that people, when they come to that first welcome page, they can access these other ones. All right, let's click back on members welcome. So in order to do this, these other 2, the scripts and graphics in this case, are gonna have to be published, but we're gonna go back and edit that welcome page now. All right, so right now I've got a wide text section at the top. I'm gonna just click to open it. Oops, there we go. And I'm gonna add my menu up above here just to make it easy for people to access this other stuff. So I'm gonna say team home. That's gonna have a link to this page right here. So before I do that, I am gonna have to publish this page. All right, now I'll be able to link to it easily. So I'm going to highlight team home, click that link. We're going to just search for team. Actually, we called this members only welcome. There we go. Okay. I'm going to hit the little right arrow to get out of that editing the link. And I'm going to put the little vertical bar there. I'm going to add another one. We've got one that said scripts. So let's go ahead and type in class scripts. Highlight that. Members only scripts. Hit enter. Little arrow over there. Do another one of those vertical bars, and we're going to do graphics now. Members only graphics. Okay, so let's go ahead and highlight this, and we're going to center it. We're going to take out one of these spaces here, and we can preview what we've got so you can kind of see what this looks like. So here's members only welcome, home, class scripts, members only graphics. So those are going to link to those other pages. But before we are done with that, we're going to actually highlight this. We're going to copy it. We're going to update this page. And now we're going to go add the same thing on our other two pages that we've already created. And that way they'll all have menus that link back to each other. This one I don't have a text section to work with, so I'm going to add a new one above. Click that little plus button and that'll add a section above. Paste it in there, center it, update. So now that we've created our menu, let's go check out what we've got going on here. So click on pages, here's that members welcome. You can sort them by date if they're not in the right order for you. All right, this looks great. So here's our menu. We can click through and it'll bring us to our other pages that we just created. Here's that scripts page. Here's our members only graphics page. Here's that download link that we created. And back up at the top, we can go back to that welcome page. So I recommend, like we said, adding information on how you can get the password. So these are going to be password protected. I'm logged in and I already entered the password, but otherwise you're going to get prompted. People who haven't done that yet are going to get prompted to enter a password here when they click into each one of those. Last step that we could do is we could actually add this to our menu. Back to your dashboard, click appearance and click menus. Find that new, make sure you're on the main menu. Click select if you're not. Find that page that we just created. Let's call it members only welcome. Click add to menu. It'll show up right here at the bottom. You can change the title of it. Call it, welcome team or members only. If you want to use a little emoji like this, just go over to Google and type in like padlock emoji, and you can just copy it right here and paste it in. That's all I do when I want to use an emoji when I'm on a computer. So once you save your menu there, it'll show up on your main menu right here. It'll bring people right to this page. So I know there's a lot of steps here, but just to kind of reiterate, here's what we did. We started by creating this welcome page, and we left this one without a password on it. We added a contact form at the bottom so that people could contact us to get the password. Otherwise, you could have instructions in here, say message me on Facebook, whatever you want to do to get the password. Then we created our scripts page and our members only graphics page. And on those pages, we uploaded documents, we added links to those documents, maybe we added some other training material, descriptions, photos, what have you. And at the end, we uploaded a zip folder to our graphics page so that people could download that set of graphics, including maybe the class script that went along with it. And at the end there, we created a little mini menu by going to making sure all our pages were published first, going to that first welcome page, typing in what we wanted each one to be called, hitting the little link icon, searching for those pages, and then copying that little menu onto those other two pages that we created, publishing them all. Last step, we went to our menu, and by clicking appearance and then menus, and finding that first page, this members welcome page, adding it to our menu, and it shows up right there in the corner now. And you could drag that somewhere else in your menu, but that kind of is way to make sure that people can access that content and find it. You don't have to add it to your menu. You could just send people the link. I could just copy this right here, post it on Facebook, set it on Project Broadcast or whatever. I hope that gives you a good idea of how you can add content to your site and make some really good resources available to your team and prospective members. So if you have questions on how to add content to your site or anything like that, you can send me a message and be happy to give you some pointers and make sure that you've got the information that you need to be able to get this set up for your team.